The churning, roiling waters of the River Trent, several meters below, were the perfect metaphor for what was going on inside Malcolm's head. His thoughts were chaotic, troubled, and crashing through his mind like a tidal wave of pain and regret. He'd had an absolute nightmare of a day, and now he was here, a couple of miles away from home in the middle of the night, with no idea what to do or where to go. Leaning on the railing of the Trent Bridge, with the occasional car driving by behind him, Malcolm buried his head in his hands and sobbed, letting out the emotions that had been building up inside. "Oh, God," he muttered, sniffing and wiping his eyes. Was it too much to ask for, to have a mum who cared and friends who didn't hate him? He didn't feel like that was asking for a lot, but he had neither of them right now. Malcolm stared out over the river. On his right, the Nottingham Forest football ground stood proudly on the banks of the Trent, but right now, in the depths of the night, it was as quiet as a tomb. Gripping the railing, he closed his eyes and took a long breath. He'd stormed out of the house maybe 2 hours ago, leaving his mum to deal with her boyfriend Ernie alone. He'd had it with their arguments, his violence, and her complete dereliction of duty as a mother. Rather than run after him or come looking for him, she'd probably just opened another bottle, or worse, gone straight to the crack pipe. She didn't care about him, and hadn't for years now. All she cared about was that next high. It just seemed to be how she dealt with everything in life. When another past-due bill came in, she had a drink. When the food ran out, she sparked up the crack pipe. And when Ernie hurt her again, her chosen coping method was to get as drunk and as high as she could and forget about her life. But that meant she forgot about him too. She wouldn't be out looking for him. She wouldn't call the police. She just didn't care enough. He'd stayed out before, at a friend's house or whatever, and she'd never batted an eyelid. A small part of him hoped that today would be different. When they started fighting tonight and Ernie started hurting her, he jumped in to help. Ernie punched him in the face for his trouble. That had been Malcolm's breaking point, and he'd stormed out, fed up with his mum, his friends, and his life. He wanted out of that house, out of the Hyson Green estate, and out of this city. But he was 15, and it simply wasn't that easy. He'd seen what some of the other kids his age and younger were doing to make money. There was no way he was getting involved in the gangs. It was far too dangerous, and no matter how much he wanted to earn more money to buy the things he wanted, there was no way he was going to do that.